delicious.
It's good, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need some heat.
What?
Gotta pack it with some heat.
What's your kill time? You got a kill time?
No, whatever works.
Before you get, we just want you to get sick when I sit here and get sick.
Shut up.
Kids.
I just have my kids at home.
Like something happened on the way over. Like I saw you at the office. And
You're
you were
all
like,
cheery.
looking
like,
all good, and then now you look a little rough. Like maybe it's hitting you right now.
Because I was listening to, like, I thought we were going to make this a spicy episode.
Okay.
So I was getting into the right mindset with the
okay.
playlist on the way over.
Okay. Are they fired up right now?
I'm trying to stay up to date with my house, right?
So how are we gonna segue into this episode here?
I don't know. It's a good question.
What's we're all jovial, we're asking each other how everyone's day is, and then what?
Well, you had something you want to talk about.
Yeah. How?
You want to talk about controversial stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't that what it was? Controversy?
Yeah.
Controversial issues?
How many episodes have we actually done?
Like us as a team of 3?
No, like...
All together?
Yeah.
So on this is almost 50.
This is 50.
50th anniversary?
Maybe 49.
Is that why
I
we're
gotta check.
eating
The special prosciutto.
Yeah. Celebration.
It's amazing.
Are we on right now or what?
We're on. We've been
Are we
on for a while, yeah,
Okay.
since you started cutting that thing.
Okay. Awesome. Here. I aim to serve in leadership.
You're the best.
Here. Serving leadership, right? Come over.
So you wanted to talk
I
about
feed you
something
guys.
before we turned the mic on. Delmar was talking about...
Can you share your opinion?
Yes,
So I
it
thought
is.
that we would do something different and talk about something like really
It's
something
good.
controversial.
Are you going to drop an F-bomb?
While we
Is
eat,
that what you're saying?
maybe. Can I, or is that
No,
like
that's against the rules.
it's not regulated? Is it?
I don't know.
I can do it.
I think
I feel like I can do it.
You can do whatever you
I
want.
think you
on
could
there.
find other
This
words
is-
to say
this
to
is
convey
your
the
own-
same message.
This is
You
your
know?
own-
I'll use a sound effect for you.
medium.
I'm
Yeah.
known to use sound effects, so
So
when you're about to drop it, I'll be like, whoop!
So it's been weighing on me a bit because a lot's gone on in the world. It seems like it's rapid fire right now. It's just things are coming from everywhere. Like there's a ceasefire agreement now in Gaza, and a lot of people are happy about that, but at the same time they're kind of pissed off that it came from someone that they don't agree with and they don't want to give them credit for it. There was the assassination of Charlie Kirk. What else was there? There was one more big thing that happened too.
You talking about American politics?
In the world, like the assassination as an example is like not just American.
Bigger than that.
Yeah, it's right
There's a lot
because
of-
I know that it is certainly permeated to our school and our community because not only students but teachers, like they kind of wanted to know like what I thought and even where things are at with Trump and Gaza and like how do I feel towards Trump. And I feel as a school leader I'm caught because obviously I'm human and obviously I have my thoughts, but at the same time I'm weary because I don't want to necessarily share them because I feel like I come from a position of influence. So I'm having a hard time with where do I draw that line?
It's really hard. Like, what do you say? What do you not say? How people interpret what you say.
People are watching, right?
People are watching. Yeah, they're very aware of the issues in the world, and they're looking for shows to support one another in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. And you can get caught in that pretty easily, right? And there's also... I don't know, the climate's just such that it's so divisive, right? So, like, stepping on any of it, sometimes it's best to avoid so you don't step in it.
Right.
Because that's where it gets murky.
Right.
Yeah, and why do you think that is, though? Like, why is it so polarized? That's another wondering I have, right? Like, so, for example, I can agree with something that somebody has political lean one way, and they say something, and I could agree with that. The one statement. It doesn't mean I agree with everything that they agree with. But I think people take it to mean, oh, you think you agree with that one thing that person says, you align with everything they say.
Yeah.
That's like the way we've just gone. And
Yeah.
it's dangerous.
As a society, we've lost the sight of that two things can't be true.
That's right.
You can disagree with 90% of what our opposition leader, federally, Pierre Poilievre says, but you could agree with what 10% says, right? Like
Right.
two things can be true at the same time, right?
That's
Like
right.
you could think that Trump's a jerk, but you could think he's doing a good job in helping move towards peace. Like two
You
things,
can think that.
two
That's-
things can be true at the same
They
time.
can
It's
be.
not just that I think he's a jerk, so therefore anything he does that is good, we can't acknowledge, or the opposite, right?
That's right. And it's hard to weigh in on because then you just end up wearing it.
Right.
So what is a leader to do then?
And I'm gonna call us out here because we're in our podcast. We sometimes have the rose-colored glasses on, and we're all it's about building relationships, and it's about getting to know your team. But then it's like when you're challenged with these like really difficult conversations, we're like, oh, hot potato.
Yeah.
right? Like
You're right.
I don't want to rumble, but this is where you build those relationships. This is where you seek to understand each other. Like I'll admit it. Like I feel like, in my opinion, right now, and talking out loud, that we probably can't because we hold that influence.
That's right. I think we have to be very careful about what we say because it can be interpreted lots of ways,
Right.
and it can easily be interpreted as sympathetic towards a cause that people don't agree with, even if it's not. It's not the intention of it. So I think sometimes we're just like handcuffed.
Yeah, are you talking about us? Like, are you talking about school leaders specifically, or are you just talking about educators?
Well, educators are school leaders. Like
It could be
No,
school
I understand,
leaders.
but I'm just wondering
School
what you're
leaders.
talking about. Okay,
yeah, like
so
school leaders.
yeah, so I
Us
think,
educators, admin, teachers, custodial,
yeah,
EAs, like everyone, right?
yeah. Like I think we
Because
have
we all, in one point or another, have influence.
Yeah.
Have influence over, to a certain degree, over each other, but over young minds that are kind of developing and still trying to think about where they fit in this world.
Yeah, and I think it's we have an opportunity and a bit of an obligation, not a bit, and an obligation to bring those issues where appropriate to the classroom and have those age appropriate conversations too, because if you can't have that productive discourse in the class, then where can you have it? Right? And I think you have to expose students to either side of an issue or multiple sides of an issue, and let them form their own opinions on it. But I think it's a responsibility of the teacher in the classroom to, navigate those waters with the students. And I'm not saying it's easy, and actually they're putting themselves in quite a vulnerable position because, we've had people call who are unhappy about some of the conversations that have taken place in the classroom. But if you can't have it there, where appropriate, right, then where can you have it, and where can you expose students to different ideas? And even if you want to have students call out different ideas and have the discourse, I think it's good. I think the danger leading a school is where you take a position and you have staff who have an alternate viewpoint of you, and that alternate viewpoint of what you have or what you hold, then you may lose all credibility with that staff member. Or I just think it's dangerous. It becomes more dangerous then, right? I think you have to toe, I'm not saying the middle line, but I think you just have to know what your guiding star is and how you're going to lead people through,
Right.
like some event, right? Like you brought up, like Charlie Kirk, like Trump and Gaza, whatever that might be, whatever those events are going to hit. I think you have to have an understanding of what's going to guide you through that and lead your staff through it, but not take a side. I think that's actually quite important, not to take a side through it.
Have you ever been charged with not having a backbone or not being able to relate to you because you're tiptoeing around, right? Because I know that when I do take that neutral stance, they're like, okay, yeah, I know that's what you're told to say, but I want to know Dahmer, I want to know you. And then it's like, well, I don't know if I can. Which then, that right there, that creates a barrier in terms of you building that relationship with that individual. Because now they're right? Because now they're like, okay, well, clearly he's not open to talking about everything. So
at the same time, though, I think you have to keep it professional. And so when they're asking you if you don't have a relationship with that person, I'm guessing, right? They're asking to figure out where you are, so they're kind of sizing you up. It's not like they necessarily have a good intention with that either. They're just trying to see what side of the line you're on.
Good
That's
point.
what I think.
That's a good point.
yeah.
But for them, that might matter in terms of
Yeah,
how
for
much
sure
they
it
want
does.
to engage with you or
Of
be
course.
led by you or work with you, right? So that does have an impact.
Yeah, but
So
you
it's
also
it's a hot button one when they put you in that corner.
You also don't control the message then once you share that opinion.
Yeah.
With that one person, because then where that one person
That's a great point.
could leave it in the room with you, but they could also go and share hey, I had a conversation with Delmar about this thing, and this is what he thinks. Right now, I think it's a little more dangerous.
Right.
You gotta be cautious.
You got to be cautious.
Yeah.
I think sometimes though, if you don't say something on certain issues, then it also implies that you feel nothing or a certain way towards it too, right?
Oh, I do agree with that, yeah.
Silence is just as impactful as saying something, right?
Yeah.
And I think
agree with
that what you said about the North Star or whatever, your guiding force there should be in our scenario is how it impacts our students, right?
Yeah.
So when we're talking about this type of discourse in a classroom, for example, we want to make sure that people are allowing students to still be able to critically think,
Yeah.
regardless of how serious we strongly feel about one way or another. Their right to be able to critically think and reason a situation and create a forum for that, or allow them to have their own thoughts, is important. And that's a few times where I've stepped in it to interject on what I kind of heard was happening in classrooms regarding the U.S. election and comments that were being made, and how that could be, misinterpreted by students and ostracizing students by voicing certain opinions of a certain leader in a classroom without any discourse. It wasn't like, can we talk about where this person's leadership looks like? It was more just outright character assassinations of a person in general. We shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like, we really shouldn't do that ever. Yeah. Right? Like, why? Why would we do that?
On the shoulders of, on certain hot topics where we are silent, right? It doesn't mean that we have to talk about or take a side, right? It could just be an acknowledgement of, hey, someone was assassinated who's a political figure. Yeah. That is tragic.
Yeah.
And we should be able to say that when a life is lost, it is a tragedy.
Absolutely.
And be able to voice that and be able to acknowledge that.
That's right.
And without having to engage in, okay, well, now you're a supporter of this cause or that cause. Like, no, like, a human life was lost, or human lives are being lost. Anytime that happens, we have to acknowledge it, and it's...
Totally agree. And in this particular case, obviously, we talked a lot about Charlie Kirk. Like, we have to acknowledge that is not a normal event in North America. Like, it's not common that that's occurring with our quasi-political leaders. That's an unnatural event that doesn't occur often. So to just act like it never happened is not great either. Right? And if you're someone that wants to encourage students to get into public life, to think that we can just be like, oh, cool with public assassinations, that's not good.
Right.
Like, I think we all have to get on that page and think that's probably not good. I think we could all get there once we get past the other parts, but...
And having that conversation of when you disagree with someone, like, here's how we constructively have conversations and help build these young minds to have those skills to be in disagreement with someone and still be able to be in a relationship or to respect that person, right? That's what we call a teachable moment where you can hone in on those skills, right? Like, I know that even here around our table, we all don't agree on certain things, and yet we all break bread often, and we all hang out, and we all, well, with the exception of Matt, we tend to respect each other, right? So it's a skill though. Like, we weren't born with that. That was through our upbringing, through our education, and through our life experience that we gained that. And I feel like sometimes we're too cautious. And we're too worried of saying the wrong thing, because today there's you say the wrong thing and you're done for. And I feel that has a lot of
cancel culture, right?
Cancel culture, that has a lot of people walking on eggshells, which then I would argue gets in the way of us being able to effectively educate these young minds to engage in effective discourse.
Yeah, people shy away. Then you're left with more division.
And then we're like, why don't these kids know how to talk to each other? Why do they resort to? It's because we ourselves, like, we're tiptoeing around it, right?
It's a great point. I know I sent in the group chat a while back the Turning Point USA. I know Matt. He read all those for sure. 31 Ways to Live Like Charlie Kirk. My point of bringing this up is that, if you read the 31 ways to live like Charlie Kirk as, shared by Turning Point USA, how many would you agree with or disagree with? And when I read them, I agree with most of this list. So, like, to say that, you can't just categorize someone as, like, altogether evil, it's a human life. There's more to a person than an opinion, right? This really humanizes a person in my mind. And then also, add a layer to this one in particular is the faith context as well, right? So someone who would, in this case, we're in a Catholic school system, Christian base, would characterize himself as Christian, living to serve God. You'd think that most people that are in a system like that would probably align with some of the views, at least, of a person like Charlie Kirk. And if you look at the 31 things, I think they're pretty decent. Yeah. Human goals and, like, faith-based goals.
Yeah.
So it just to me, it humanizes the figure
And it goes back to my argument that two things can be true.
Exactly.
Right? Like, there's not just one truth. It's kind of like that Venn diagram, right? There's like
That's
that
right.
overlap,
Yeah,
and you're right in the middle. Right?
That's right.
Like,
And we're imperfect people. It's like to say that we're not is ridiculous.
Right.
To think that this guy's not perfect. No one's perfect. Right.
And
So
even-
we're all imperfect people, right?
we keep talking about Charlie Kirk, but he's even been convinced. Like, his whole stance is, here's my statement, convince me otherwise. And there's a couple of instances where he was convinced otherwise,
Yeah.
and he
Change
acknowledges,
opinion.
hey, like, right? And that happens to me all the time in my role, where they're like, well, you changed your mind. And I'm like, well, of course I did, because I made a decision based on the data I had. Once I gather new info, I'm not going to be so egotistical and be like, well, no, I said this, and I have to go with what my decision was
right.
at that point until the very end, because I'm an imposter and I'm going to pretend I know all. And no, like, obviously when more data or more information or more or a different lens is brought to my attention, of course I'm going to make a different decision. Of course I'm going to change my mind. Like, that's part of leadership, right? That's what a good leader does, is
Absolutely.
they go in a certain direction until they get feedback to steer them in a different direction. And then you have to be courageous enough to be like, hey, we're now going in this direction because I didn't consider this, or I didn't consider that voice, or I didn't have that data. And sometimes two things, like, I don't know if you guys have ever been
Lots.
in that situation or have coached someone that is in leadership that was kind of going one direction, and you're kind of coaching them into another direction. Like, have you seen that conflict of like, well, I kind of see your point, but we kind of got to keep going this way because I said it.
Totally. I think it happens a lot. I mean, part of it is that some things you have to let stay the course just to see if they work.
Right.
But there comes a time where I think you got to just take the feedback and change course.
Right.
Right. You can commit to an idea for maybe a certain amount of time, but if someone presents you a better solution, I think you should be open to that. And we want people to be open to that too.
Right.
If we're like, I know that you really, this is your, like, the way you operate, but I need you to kind of get over here. I think that would help you. I hope someone's open to that. We want them to be. This guy changes his stance all the time,
well
so we're
said.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just depends on the way the
He just signed up for Turning Point USA. Sorry. Okay.
It depends. The way the wind's blowing that day. Is that what you said?
Okay, we'll stop talking about Charlie Kirk because
Yeah.
Matt's getting nervous. Okay. But in the same context, I thought about someone like a figure. I know at the time it was controversial because he was doping like crazy, but like Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
So this guy did a ton for cancer research, Live Strong. It was like we lived and breathed that for like a few years, like in high school, maybe university at that time.
Our childhood was that.
It was a big deal. Like it brought a lot of attention to cancer research, kind of like Terry Fox in a way too. Like it was really a lot of good stuff. But his personal like doping allegations brought his profile down. But did he still not do good for humanity? I would argue that yes, he did do lots of good for humanity, right? So there's a person, again, imperfect, but did they do some good? I think they did, right? So people are complex is all I really need to say, and they can do good and do bad at the same time, right?
Can we talk about Elon Musk?
Oh, no, we can't.
Right? Like, at one point, he was the savior, coming up with the e-car, and he was going to save the earth. And then he buys Twitter to ensure, in his point of view, to control the robots or whatnot, to ensure that people that you're actually having arguments with is a real human being, as opposed to some agency that's creating all these bots and AI, and then you're kind of creating this social engineering and mind mapping individuals that now he's evil, right? And he was getting involved with Trump, and now he's evil. And then now that he's not involved with Trump, and he's actually said bad things about Trump, because again, two things can be true. Now it's like, well, I'm not exactly sure how we feel about him right now, right? Like and all that happened within like 2 years. Right?
I think it's just a culture of like judgment, right? And personalities. Like people they see his personality and will dismiss any of the things that he does or offered or advanced in technology just because he has a position on something or another, right?
Right.
And that's, again, goes back to the complexity of humans. You can do so much good for humanity but be a horrible person. That's true.
Yeah.
That is, unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's true. You can have an invention that revolutionized the world and be a bad human,
Right.
but you still did that impacted all this over here.
Right.
But I don't think people can hold that together.
So now in our own roles, where have you ever had an example where that's happened to you? Where it's like you're driving, you're connecting with a group of people, whether it's your department that you're in charge with, but then you make one decision that they can't see why you made that decision, or they can't have that info in terms of why that decision was made, and all of a sudden you're the bad guy, and then you're like completely shut out.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, I think sometimes we make decisions to, like, in the best interest of kids and teachers.
Sid Matt at hotmail.com.
Right.
I'm just signing you up.
That'd be good. I think that one's fun. But yeah, it's unfortunate because they don't always know the full details, and then like sometimes teachers gossip about it too, right? So then it kind of like spreads this little grass fire
Right.
through a department or through a group of teachers, and you just realize like, you know, like you.
Do you ignore that? Do you navigate that? Do you confront it?
No, we've talked about it for sure. They got to wrestle with not knowing the information ahead of time or the reason why that decision was made, but just they got to trust that it was made in the best interest of student. And the scenario I'm thinking about is the teacher as well. And in the end, sometimes you're just the bad guy, right? But I think it also worked out really well, the scenario I'm thinking about.
Are we okay with that?
Yeah. Yes.
Like sometimes we just
100%.
we got to be that bad
Have
guy.
to be.
100%.
Yeah, time heals all.
Yeah.
Sometimes people need a lot more time.
Yeah. Sometimes
She's like,
it
I'm
takes
already
a
over
long
that. That
time.
was yesterday's problem, but that might be a whole year problem for the person. Right?
Yeah, and you
I
just-
can understand because it impacts their work maybe more so than ours. So it's their lived reality, and they're just could be bitter or whatever.
And
for a while.
sometimes they're just a little more hurt by it, even
Yeah.
hurt by the decision. But you know, in the best interest of all the parties, like they just can't hold the info, or they can't know all the info, right? I know I'm being very
vague.
vague about it, but
Yeah, but you're right though. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to live with the decision yourself, knowing that people aren't going to be happy about it, right? Or they don't see the bigger picture, so they think it's an affront to them, but it's actually not really an affront to them. It's you're doing the best with the situation you have.
yeah. And really, you just can't sweat it. Like you can't even own what's going on. Like you can't make that something that affects you, right? Like it's just part of your own role, and you got to be able to move on from that too, or learn how to move on from those sort of things, to be able to do your job effectively and still have a relationship with that person, still do right by them and the student that might be involved, or the family, or whatever that might be. Because at the end of the day, like that's just one interaction. Maybe it didn't go well with that staff member or the family, but they're still in your care, right? So you can't hold that against them either, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say hold it against them should ever happen.
No, exactly.
But
Yeah.
it might be treading lightly for the next little bit because you've already
Yeah.
made a decision that's impacted them some way.
Right.
That they're feeling a little hot about. So maybe the next little while, like I said, time healing all, you might just be like not peppering them with more hurts. Like just being compassionate, knowing that really did bother them, whatever the decision was, and just for the next little bit, just time and space.
Yeah, and
But I know I've done something that they're not gonna like that, but
yeah. And to add on to that too, I think it's still up to us to repair that relationship.
right.
You know, I don't think it's on them at all to make the first move or
Really?
Yeah, because I don't.
They're the
think,
ones who are mad at you,
Yeah.
or they're the ones that are lashing out at you.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're the one that has to go.
in like the
and approach
scenario
them.
I'm thinking about, yeah, because I feel like you've made a decision where you have more information than them,
Right.
And you're telling them like, you know, I'm making this decision in the best interest of you and the family or whatever that may be, and they're upset by it. But I still think it's not on them to make the first move because you're doing it from a place of knowing more, right?
So how would you approach that? Now, I know every situation is
Yeah.
different, clearly, but for those that are listening to our podcast that are aspiring leaders, so what would that first move look like? Is it an email? Is it like, hey,
And
can
they could even
we?
just start having interactions with them, like being intentional about them, walking by your class in the morning, saying good morning. Like it depends on where that level is and like the amount of damage that
Yeah.
has come to the relationship, right? So
Start off with the acknowledgement. Say, hey,
Yeah.
good morning.
Yeah,
how's it going?
exactly.
Good
You just start
afternoon,
over, right?
Yeah.
Because I do think Jordan's right. I think time heals, right?
I thought about something when you said something about trust, and they just have to trust, right? I stated that once to someone, and I vowed I would never do that again.
Yeah,
because it
for
just
sure.
right. Like
No,
I'm like,
no.
You just gotta trust me.
I did
That's
say I'm
right.
like,
Trust me,
listen,
bro.
like,
Bro, it's science. It's science.
That's right.
maybe it was the bro at the end of it, or the buds I threw in at the end of it. But it's like, yeah, like when I said at one point we were at an impasse, and I really couldn't share anything else, and I really wanted to get them on my side, which
Yeah.
at that point I wasn't okay with people not being on Team Delmar, right? So that statement of, listen, like, you just gotta trust I'm doing this in the best interest of everyone here, and that did not go over
Yeah.
well, right? Like it was that thing of like, how can I trust you if you're not giving me all the info?
Yeah, I feel like the analogy that kind of works in the situation we're talking about is like that idea that you're billing currency with somebody,
Yeah.
and you're always making deposits, right? And then eventually, I really feel like you're going to end up making a withdrawal for whatever reason, you know, depending on like the scenario, and that withdrawal can be a little bit, or it could be a lot, and you're in debt to that person, really, in that analogy, right?
Yeah, that's good.
So I feel like throughout our days, we're making deposits from people, but eventually we're going to have that bit of a withdrawal. And I think that depending on the relationship you've had with that person, it could go okay. Or depending on the amount of currency you need to take back, that withdrawal you need to make, like, yeah, you're starting over and you're kind of in the negatives, and you're starting to deposit again, but it takes a long time to build it back up.
Okay, so in light of what you just said, it's on the leader to make the first move, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about, how have you handled that in the past? When there was a situation with someone maybe higher than you on the org chart where it didn't go the way you needed, did you let them
Like
make
with
the...
Delmar?
Oof.
Yeah,
Is that
did you let them
me
make...
and Delmar?
I'm just...
What?
Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Did
I'm
you-
higher on the organization chart?
Did you let them make
At
the...
one time you would.
Did you let them make the first step, or did you do something? You know, I got times for sure. I got a bunch, because I'm quick to speak sometimes. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that too.
I am, but I feel like even with people that are in a position, that have been in positions higher on the org chart than me, if I've had that interaction, I actually think I've made the first inroads many times because I want it to get right, and maybe I recognize what I did was out of line, or is to explain why I was so upset or
that's good.
disappointed with the decision, and that's why you saw that in me, so that they know. And sometimes that's just, I think it's a good courtesy so that they see that you give a darn about some certain things, and that they know that. And I think sometimes explaining your perspective helps the situation. So sometimes, like the examples you're giving, I know we're being vague, but if we say that it's affecting them, they might have a bigger perspective than we even think, and they might have a perspective that says, oh, they're actually thinking about something else, right? So I always try and articulate why I was so bent about something, so that they know. It's clear.
Yeah, I like that.
It's so it's clear that they know why, not because so they can guess, oh, that's probably because didn't benefit Jordan. Actually, no, there's something else.
Right.
It's bigger than that.
Yeah.
I want them to know.
Do you feel like in your situations that you felt that you went back because you felt that they weren't going to come back, and that they didn't show that they really cared, or it was an afterthought, or...
Why did I go back?
Yeah.
Because it was beneficial for the system to function that way. And if they weren't going to make the first step, I had to make it.
Okay. So
you're bothered enough by it, right?
Yeah,
In order to go
they
and-
need to know so that I can move on and
Yeah.
they can move on in a productive way.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's dark hole that doesn't get
leadership is
resolved.
hard
It
because
is.
they could also be like, well, I was giving you space because I'm not sure
Exactly.
you're ready yet or not. Right?
Exactly, you're right.
But in your perspective, it's
Yeah.
like they don't care. They're not like, I need them to know, and they're not coming to me.
Right. But I guess in my perspective, I felt each time it was my fault. So I'm like, yeah, I was a little out of line. Right? And so then that's why I went back.
Okay.
Like I didn't think it was, I guess I could have been upset by a decision they made, but it was probably maybe my reaction to it that I had to maybe apologize for and explain. Right. So yeah, I would say I just took ownership in some way. Right. And I've had people do it to me too. Like, I'm sorry I said it that way. I was just pissed off about this or that.
Yeah.
But I think it should be, the onus doesn't have to just be on the leader, I don't think. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. 100%. Yeah, of course.
You change his opinion right there. Perfect.
See?
No, no.
happen.
You're so open-minded. You're
Hold
so
on a
good.
second. I'm not even,
Wait,
I'm
now
not
he's
even
going to
saying-
convince us that we did change his mind. Go ahead, Matt.
I'm
Go
also
ahead.
saying that, like, I do feel like the onus is on us too, but I'm not saying that
Can
shouldn't
be.
happen.
It
Right.
depends on the scenario, right?
It
Like
depends,
I'm
yeah.
explaining it as if like I think I overstepped and now I need to explain myself, or I thought it was my fault, so I
Yeah.
explained myself.
Yeah, it's almost like this reminds me how I was told once by someone, and I forget who it was, that they said that in our roles we can't show emotion. Like so when things are going off and there's chaos or an emergency happening, the last thing that we need to be doing is showing that it's affecting us, because how we act, how we respond, etc. Right? And that's kind of true in situations like this too, right? Where it's almost given those that we're leading the grace of you can be upset, you can say whatever, you can do it all, and we're going to be here to listen, right? Which I think is unhealthy. I think that's an unhealthy mindset for leadership, where they're like, oh yeah, you know what, it's okay, keep taking it, right? That they were upset in the moment. Well, leaders get upset in the moment too, but we're very cautious and we're very careful about how we're engaging in those emotions or navigating through those emotions, right? And it's almost like they get a grace pass, or like a pass, because they're not in leadership, that they can like
Say what
go
they
off
want.
and then come back and be like, oh, sorry, I was really upset. But as a leader, if you go off on someone and they come back and say I was really upset, that looks very, very
For sure.
different.
It does look different.
Is that fair?
No, it's not really, but it's, I guess, part of the
Is it
position.
Should it be an expectation?
I think modeling productive habits is a good practice for a leader.
Yeah.
And it depends on the issue, though. Like if you're talking about like a direction that you want to take and the decision hasn't been made and you get passionate about it, like a debate, I think that's great. Like we haven't made a decision yet. Here's the information we have, about a direction or an initiative or whatever, and you're getting fired up about that. Actually, that's productive, even for a leader. I think that's fine. But if it's about like resolving a conflict, I think that's a very different scenario, because you do need to be kind of just even keel and less emotional about it. I find I get most emotional about the direction of things.
Me too.
Yeah, like I'm like, no, why are we doing that? Like that makes no sense.
Yeah.
We're talking about being mic'd up at our meetings, right?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, right? That's what we're saying, right?
Yeah.
But it's because we're passionate about the way it looks in our schools.
Yeah.
It's no other reason, right?
Totally. Anything to add on?
That sounds great.
I think he just
I
wants to
agree.
say Charlie Kirk one more time. Yeah. It's making him nervous. It's getting red.
Are you getting emails already or what?
Let's just try.
From Turning Point USA? Yeah.
So yeah, back to the controversy. We'll wrap this one up shortly, but back to the controversy and like these hot button political topics. I had a staff member. They're talking about something else, and they left my office, and they came back and said, "Oh, I ask one more thing. It's about Israel-Palestine." I was like,
man.
"Just a minute." I'm like, "Minute? That's not a minute conversation, right?" But it's so funny. They're like, they knew right away when they said it. Like, I'm gonna sit down. Let's just sit down. They sat down. So it was like kind of funny, but they know it's so big. They don't know where to go because they don't know all the information either,
Right.
and they're unsure how to handle it if it
Right.
comes up. So like, it
And that's
isn't.
okay
It's
to say.
important, and that's okay.
And that's okay to say, I don't know enough.
Of course, it is.
I don't
Yeah,
know
of
enough.
course it is.
Actually, that's the best out that you have. Is
It
to be
is.
like, I don't know enough. I don't have enough to formulate an opinion on X matter, right?
That's right. So do you want to do a what do we call that? Vibe check?
Yep.
Charlie Kirk vibe check.
Hey,
hold on.
We gotta do a video. We gotta do a video podcast just so everyone can see Matt's face.
Okay, I'm gonna pick arbitrarily. I'm gonna pick of the 31 ways to live like Charlie Kirk, and
Okay.
I want you to tell me like yay or nay is a good life practice that you would promote for yourself and others to follow. Okay. So I said I'm gonna do
Whatever you're up for.
I think it's gonna be
too long.
Too long. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll take some of the ones that are kind of like
Okay.
they're kind of cult of personality ones, like talking about eating hot sauce, like a big deal.
Yeah. Or ordering like
I like hot sauce.
a drink, right? Yeah.
All right, here it is. So it's yay or nay is like you approve that. Okay.
Don't be eating now because now you're like
Okay, it's good.
pretending that you can't answer because now they have your.
As good Catholics, this is going to be tough, though. It's just so okay. First one: honor the Sabbath. Yay or nay?
Yay. In terms of work, to
It's hard to
dedicate
do.
that to family, to dedicate that to
No, but should you strive
I
to
see
it?
as I see it
It's
as
a-
honoring
yeah.
honoring the Sabbath as honoring God and family.
These
course.
are aspiring to.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Journal every day.
That'd be great. I would love to do that. I would love to aspire to
Is
that.
it a good aspirational goal?
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm neither on here because I don't see, like, I've never seen the benefit in journaling every day. Like, I've never done it either, but like, I don't really see like what's
The research is there that it works. I've never done it every day. I can't.
So what happens
I can't
though?
stick to it.
So what happens? Like,
It's just good for you.
you have better at cursive writing? Like, I don't know what happens.
I think
when
it helps your
journal.
mind remember
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
No.
I'll say yay.
Yeah.
You got yay?
Yeah.
Okay.
What'd you say to the first one?
Onto the Sabbath?
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
yes.
Hey,
Come on,
I just
man.
wanna make
As an
sure.
aspirational, you want us all to be on record? Okay,
so
got
for
it.
all those who are taking score on the second one, Jordan's a yay, Matt's a yay, I'm a meh.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Send scripture to friends
Yay.
as an aspirational goal.
Yay. Yeah.
Yay.
You do it.
I've sent you some, Jordan?
Absolutely.
Right? I
Group
haven't
chat.
gotten haven't gotten any off of Matt though, so I'm documenting that.
It's
yay.
aspirational. Aspirational.
Oh, okay, true. Sorry.
So we're through 3.
You'd be a great politician, Jordan.
You like that? have kids.
Have kids, they said. It'd be fun, they said.
Well, I'll have them.
Yay.
So?
Yay.
Yep.
Kids are the best. Like,
Of course.
it gives you
Yay.
purpose. Yeah.
Go to church.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yay. Work out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Aspirational goal.
Aspirational goal. Yay. Yes.
Yay. Let's see what we got here.
How many is that?
We're at
We're flying through these.
7. 6.
We're flying through this, so do all of them. It's fine.
Okay, I'll keep going here. Some of them are American based, so I don't want to go with that. Oh, this one. Ask your spouse, how can I better serve you?
Yeah, of course. It's good practice.
Have you ever asked her that?
I can say, how can I help? Of course. How can I help?
Do you
You got all this
who-
stuff to do. You look like you're upset at me. How can I help?
Do you want me to set the table for that amazing meal you prepared? Thanks.
Yay.
Yeah, of course.
Stand up for your beliefs.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Can we do that as, going right back full circle though, right? And you don't have to answer that question, but to those that are listening, do you feel that as a school leader that can you do that?
I think your core beliefs you can present in lots of ways. I do.
Yeah.
I do. Get 8 hours of sleep.
Yay.
Aspirational.
Of course.
Okay. Yay.
Of course.
These sound pretty.
Matt gets like at least 10 hours.
Are these pretty reasonable or what? These
Yeah.
are pretty reasonable. Okay. Don't be afraid of what others think of you.
Yeah, of course. These are all good. You're not.
Overall, I would
I'm
say
yay
yeah.
in that one.
Yeah. Overall, I would say yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yay.
Yep.
These are quite reasonable, guys. Just going through this.
Absolutely.
Be bold and courageous.
We do that every day in our work.
This will be the last one. The other ones are just too, like I said, cult of personality. It's not really worth it.
Yeah.
The last one is pick up the mic.
That's a good one.
Pick up the mic.
Leaders go first.
That's a yay. We're doing a podcast. Come on, man.
100%.
The mic is on.
100%. That's a yay.
Okay.
That's powerful.
It's a good
Right?
one, eh?
To pick up the mic, right? And that isn't just him, right? That's the other side, right? Step up to the mic and have that discord, right? Let's have those conversations.
Absolutely. So that was a tough one to record.
Yeah.
Matt's turned 30 different shades of red.
How are you feeling right now, Matt? How are you feeling right now?
He's as red as the prosciutto.
Thirsty.
We should check each other's blood pressure right now.
We should be wearing it. That's right.
We should have a cup. Have one put it on Matt just to see like
That's a good
his
idea.
heart rate go up.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well,
How's it
thanks
going,
for
boys?
venturing into those waters. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys, and I really do value these conversations. I do.
Appreciate you too.
fun.
And I'm looking forward to Matt's next scripture in the group chat.
All
There
right,
we go.
nice.
Nice job, boys.
Let's dive into this prosciutto.
That's a Rogan.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of School Leader Vibes. We're incredibly grateful for your time and your contribution to shaping the future, one student at a time. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to connect with us on Instagram at School Leader Vibes for more inspiration. Lastly, please share the podcast with fellow leaders and educators who might benefit from these conversations. Until next time, keep vibing.